Yo, what is going on, everybody? So I have a very, very interesting article here for you today. And I've actually got a few things together because I know people love to jump in on my comments. Not you guys, but some womanists and whatnot love to jump into my comments and go, "Oh, you're just picking on a young girl," or "This is just a once-off." You're what about all this stuff that guys do? I was like, "All right, okay. I get it. All right, so I'm going to back up what I have today. Now, you may notice that the title of this is entitled 9-Year-Old Tells Her Friends Which Birthday Gifts Are Acceptable and Unacceptable. An explosive in the chat has said she's entitled because her mummy taught her. And that's exactly what I think this is. Now, I did a video a long, long time ago, and there was an article written by a lady called Miranda Devine, and she wrote about the female entitlement mentality. Some of you earlier subscribers may remember that article that I wrote. And I'm going to share with you some snippets of that in today's. And I also found, how BuzzFeed loved those lists of like 16 people share the most entitled thing they've ever seen anyone do. And wow, just wow. Yes, I have that list. Interestingly, out of the 16 on the list, only 3 were male. Right? So there's 13 female to 3 male. That's more than 80% female being entitled compared to 20% of men. And I would even argue that one of those 16 things that the men did was an honest mistake. Maybe they thought this person was the cleaner. Maybe she was dressed that way. Maybe they have a cleaner that's in the kitchen at that time. I got to give the benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying that he was, maybe he was being a dick. Maybe. But I'm just saying, when you get to it, you'll see what I'm saying. So let me get stuck into this. And, there's a lot of kids at 9 years old, as was just commented in the chat, that don't even get birthday parties. It says, at 9, she should be happy because she has a birthday party. At 9, I didn't have any because we were below the poverty line. Exactly. Thank you, Kanaka95. That's exactly right. So this is just next level entitlement. Anyway, I'm not going to waffle on too much. I am going to share this article with you. So let me bring this up for you. And the reason why this is relevant to us, guys, let me just jump back here for a second. The reason why I'm talking about this, guys, is not because I want to pick on a 9-year-old girl. It's not because I just want to be like, oh, look at how bad girls are or anything like that. No. These kind of articles are the litmus test. These tell us what's happening in our younger generation, because what happens in the younger generation amplifies and grows as kids get older. So if we've got one kid doing this kind of stuff, I wonder how many kids we've got doing this kind of stuff. And what is that going to mean for the generation of entitlement? And look, eventually this girl is going to probably end up being some simp's wife. And that's a problem. This is why, guys, you need to look out for the red flags and understand what they are. Anyway, I'm going to get into it, and just keep that in mind, that this chick's going to be probably going to be someone's wife or someone's baby mama one day, and how much of a nightmare that's going to cause for that dude. And this is why I'm saying it, because I'm in this for the brotherhood. I'm not in it for the 9-year-old girl. I'm not in it to try and correct her behavior. I'm in it to warn you guys of what lays ahead and what you got to be careful of. So let's get into this. A girl from New Zealand, 9 years old, informs party guests which birthday gifts are acceptable. The sickening feeling starts as you begin to peel the wrapping paper off the elaborately covered gift. Straight away, you can tell it isn't at all what you asked for. Instead, it's an old clock radio, a box set of a television series you've always hated, or worse, a slightly stale packet of biscuits. Everyone has experienced the crushing disappointment that is receiving a bad gift at least once in their lives. And I can relate to that, and I don't disagree with that point. Although it's not a great feeling, most of us simply brush it off and secretly donate the offending gift to Vinnie's. For those of you who aren't in Australia or who don't know what Vinnie's is, it's a charity called St. Vincent de Paul, and that's basically like Goodwill. But one little girl decided to take a slightly more direct approach. Of course she did, because her mum probably takes the same approach. Clearly sick of receiving rubbish presents on her birthday, ungrateful for starters, The 9-year-old New Zealand girl instead told guests what gifts were acceptable, and I quote, were acceptable and what wouldn't be acceptable, end quote. Danielle, whose daughter was invited to the party, tells KidSpot that the kids were given explicit instructions on presents as the invitations were handed out at school. So this chick's gone to school, this 9-year-old. She's handed out birthday invitations, and then she's handed out the very clear instructions about what she would and would not tolerate a gift. Bitch. I'm just saying, like, someone rocks up to me with a birthday invitation, it's like, oh, hey, Sydney, here's an invitation on my birthday. By the way, this is what I'm gonna accept and not gonna accept as gifts. I'll be like, here's your birthday invitation. Fuck off. That's the kind of response they're gonna get from me. Responses will be varied based on the person, but that's how I would approach it. But then again, I value myself more these days than I used to. So maybe in the past I would have tolerated it. We've 9-year-old kids. All right, what are you gonna do? She was very clear on what she wanted, the Kiwi mum adds. She said the names of clothing shops that she liked, as well as the names of shops she wouldn't accept a present from. Wow. Glassons, JJ's, and Cotton On were okay, but she didn't want coloring pens or pencils, looks, or any trinkets. And I get that, but don't tell people what they can and can't buy. Let's do a quick poll. Would you let your kid go to this party? No way, these demands are insane. Maybe, but it would depend on if they were good friends or not, was the top vote, followed by the second one. No kids like being told what birthday present to buy. Unsurprisingly, the unorthodox approach to gifting shocked the other kids, with Danielle saying that her daughter didn't like being told what to buy. All the kids felt it wasn't nice, and the birthday girl was being fussy, bossy, and greedy. They were shocked. However, Danielle says that when she learned what happened, she wasn't surprised at all. Similar things that have happened with that girl before. Here it is. Guys, here it is. The punchline. This is the crux of this situation. Similar things have happened with that girl before because her mum is very strong-minded and demanding. There it is. That's all there is to say. The mother. We called it. You guys called it in the chat. It's almost always the same freaking story. Entitled mother breeds entitled children. Simple. That's why we need fathers in homes, for balance. Yeah. I didn't bother mentioning anything to the mum as I felt like her daughter was just repeating what her mum had told her to say. Maybe she's not repeating what her daughter told her to say. She's copying her mum. She's copying her. She's a carbon copy. Wow. Although Danielle was happy for her daughter to go to the party, the entire situation left a bitter taste in her mouth. Several of the girls felt sorry for their parents having to spend so much. I'd like parents to think about the values we are instilling in our children. I completely agree with that. Now, for anyone who thinks that there are, that's just a rare occasion. Girls don't do that. Let me tell you, when you raise entitled girls, when you don't tell them no, and it's the same for boys. It's the same for boys. When you raise entitled boys or girls and you don't tell them no and you give them everything they want, they end up being spoiled little Charlie Uniform November Tango Sierras. That's what they end up as. Unfortunately, far too often, it is the girls who don't have the boundaries set for them. It is the girls who aren't told no. Right? Given that this is the situation, this is a pretty shitty patriarchy, man. Like, and we've got someone in the chat here who said, I worked in education. This behavior no longer shocks me. Entitlement is running rampant. You should have seen their faces when I just used the word no. This is exactly what I'm saying. As soon as you say the word no, they're like, what? You mean it's not a yes? Yeah, that's right. It's not a yes. It's a no. You need to say no to people that are entitled. You have to. This isn't being mean. Now, I'm not targeting women here. If you got entitled guys, you got to tell them no as well. Otherwise, they're going to continue to be entitled. And they're going to maybe have kids like this. And then they're going to be entitled. And then they're just going to keep steamrolling through everyone's life that they come across, ruining everything as they go along. So I'm going to quickly flick through this list of 16 entitled things. So you can get a bit of a feel for the type of things that happen when you don't tell an entire generation of women no, or the generation before that, or the generation before that. Maybe that's being a bit too overzealous. I know at one stage there were certain standards that were expected of women, but those are largely going out the window. And I've got a lot of respect for women that actually do have boundaries and do respect other people's respect other people instead of just expecting everything to be handed for them. Here we go. 16 people share the most entitled things they've ever seen, and anyone do, and wow, just wow. Number 1, at a meet and greet with Santa, a woman shoved her way through the entire line to the front with her 2 embarrassed children. She then cornered Santa and wouldn't let him greet any other children until hers had been greeted first. How do you think those kids are going to behave in future? How do you think those kids are going to behave? Any ladies who are watching this who are seeing this kind of behavior in maybe their boyfriend or a guy they've dated, did he have a father around, or was it just the mother? And did the mother drive the father away? I'm just asking for a friend. 2, one of my fellow teachers informed her first grade class on the first day that it was time to clean up. One little girl kept playing, and when my co-worker reminded her to start cleaning up, the little girl, without even making eye contact, said, "I don't clean things up. When does the maid get here?" Entitled attitude. She's allowed to get away with not doing anything at home, so she does nothing anywhere else. Number 3, I was standing in a buffet line when an older woman tapped me on the shoulder. She said, "I already waited in line earlier," and stepped right in front of me. So, bruh, if I go to fucking Disneyland, right, and I wait for an hour to get on the fucking Mickey Mouse roller coaster or whatever rides they have at Disneyland, I haven't been, so I don't know. But if I want to get on the Mickey Mouse roller coaster and I wait an hour to get there, and then I get down to the bottom, does that mean I could just zip back to the front and be like, "Oh, hey, I waited in line earlier, so I'm just going to cut in the front"? Hell no, man. Wait your damn turn. 4, at the airport, a couple had pushed together bench chairs and were sleeping on them, blocking everyone from moving around them. As the waiting area became more congested, they woke up but didn't move so other people could sit. Elderly people were forced to stand around waiting while this couple reclined together on at least 10 seats. Entitled. Number 5. And that sounds like there's a guy and a girl there. So that's one more guy than I thought. I worked as a guard at one of London's most famous art galleries, which clearly had an indicated policy that there was no photography at the exhibits. One day, a guy pulled out his camera. So I said, "No photography, please." This fully grown man's mother yelled back, what was I saying about the single mothers? And guys who are entitled usually are entitled as a byproduct of their entitled mothers, right? The mother is enabling and encouraging this behavior. So look, check this out. "No photography, please." This fully grown man's mother yelled back, "Oh, it's okay. We're American." Bruh, I don't give a fuck if you're the king of Nigeria and you got way more money than I could ever hope to earn in a lifetime. I don't care if you're the freaking president of the United States. I don't care if you're the prime minister of Australia. I don't give a shit. You being American doesn't mean you get to breach the rules. And I would say the same if someone said this, "Oh, it's okay, I'm Australian." I would say the same damn thing. 6, I worked in an office with a communal kitchen and was washing my mug when a man from the office upstairs came in waving his mug and said, "Where shall I put this for you to wash?" I didn't respond initially because I was flabbergasted, so he must assumed I didn't speak English and said, very slowly and very loud, "I leave here, you wash, okay?" while gesturing with his hands. Now, look, I don't like the way that he went around that, but it's very possible that there's a cleaner that doesn't speak very good English that comes in on a daily basis at around that time and cleans the mugs and tells him to put the mug here, I'll clean it. And he's just asking where to put it, right? So I'm 50-50 on that one. By the way, shout out to Daniel Corica, says, "My 18-year-old daughter disowned me for going to the Capitol building." Wow. She disowned you for going to the Capitol building. See, clearly Daniel's daughter has been indoctrinated at school. Clearly, she's become a feminist as a result of the nonsense, and a leftist as well. And I'm not talking just like left-leaning. I'm talking like leftist, like NPC. Because only someone with that kind of mindset would decide to disown their own father just because he went down to Capitol Hill on the 6th of January. Right? Did Daniel do anything wrong? Not that I know of. If he didn't do anything wrong, what's the problem? I bet she's down there protesting when it suits her, when it suits her ideological framework. Look, hopefully she'll grow out of it. Hopefully she will realize in the next 4 years the dumpster fire that is incoming, and will realize that her dad actually was on the money with that. And Ali says something happened to my niece brainwashed by her school. I'd be curious to see what brainwashing happened to your niece, Ali. Number 7, I worked at a phone company and took a call where a customer complained she couldn't use the Disney app on her phone. Turns out she didn't have a smartphone, so of course she couldn't use it. She then proceeded to shriek at me while in Disney World about how I'd personally ruined her vacation because now she can't find out the line times. Well, how about you buy a damn smartphone, woman, for goodness sake? 8, when I was 6 years old, I was playing with my toy when a boy in my building came up and told me that I needed to give it him because he would use it more. Now, look, I know I'm jumping to conclusions here, but after I'm seeing all these other things, I got to wonder, was he the child of a single mother who told her son to give her things that he had because she would use it more? Look, look, maybe there was both parents at home, but I don't know, man. I just see this kind of behavior again and again. There's just too many times where there's been a single mother situation, trying to raise these kids, trying to be mum and dad, trying to wash and dry, trying to be the all-star. It just doesn't work. It's as simple as that. A close friend, here we go, number 9. A close friend and I surprised a mutual, now former friend with a ticket to a concert for her birthday. We both saved up and paid for everything, including amazing seats. When we got to the venue, former friend started bitching about how her aunt bought her cousin tickets, and she just knew that her cousin's seats would be way better than ours. Bitch. I'll just smack her out, I'm telling you. Number 10, at a cafe, a mother and her 2 young daughters were at the table next to me. The mum was on her phone the whole time, of course, and one of the daughters knocked over her drink. When one of the daughters knocked over her drink, she barely looked up. The mum then went quickly back to her phone as a worker wiped up the floor, not even a sorry or a thank you. That reminds me of when I was on the plane back from Russia for my trip with Miggy and Anton. I was sitting next to this woman and her son. She was letting the son bash the touchscreen in front of her and jumping around in the seat, and he was squealing and carrying on. And I was just like, I'm sitting there like, why did you have to see me next to a single mum and her kid? Why? Not because she's a single mum, but because of the way that she's allowing her kid to behave, because there's no discipline in the damn house. Clearly. And she's like, oh, do you want this? Not sit down. Oh my God, it killed me. So he's sitting there and he's like squealing and he's like bashing the table, and he knocked the table and the drink fell off the table and it went all over my leg. And like, bro, I got my phone in my pocket, man, and so all of this drink got all over my leg, and I had to take the phone out and wipe it off with my shirt because it didn't have a napkin because it's not dinner time yet, right? We haven't even taken off. We haven't even left the damn ground, and this kid's behaving like this. Holy shit. So anyway, as a byproduct, by the time I got off the plane, water had seeped into my screen, and it cost me a couple of $100 to get fixed. Why? Because this single mother would not discipline her child. And this kid is going to be the biggest a-hole when he grows up. Not because it's in his nature, but because his mum taught him that he was allowed to be and enabled it. So that one there pisses me off because it completely reminds me. Except at least this time looks like no one got drink all over their pocket and had their phone ruined. 11, my mother-in-law thinks she's entitled to post people's private information on her public Facebook account. If you tell her something in confidence, you can be sure it'll be on her page within minutes along with her opinion. She says she needs to do it because her friends will worry if she doesn't post frequently. Obviously, no one tells her anything anymore. Yeah, and no one tells her no. That's the problem. Nobody tells her no. Number 12. I got on the elevator at work, and this woman who I already knew was terrible got on at the last second. She leaned against the wall, crossed her arms, and gave me a look like, bitch, are you going to press the button for my floor or what? That was exactly what she said. Not with the initial enunciation that I did, but those were the words that were used. Number 13. My dad gave my 15-year-old cousin a job on a building site for his summer break. My cousin showed up for 2 days, called in sick for the next 2, then resigned on the 5th day. A month later, my dad got a request to endorse my cousin's LinkedIn where he had listed the job under employment history. Now, I'm curious. Did this 15-year-old cousin have a father in the house? Because typically it should be the dad helping the son to find a job, not the uncle of the son. I'm just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. 14. When my kids were young, I always volunteered at their school, even when I was working crazy hours. One year I was tasked with calling other parents to get more volunteers for an end-of-year event. And one mom said, I'm sorry, I can't help because I'm going through a really stressful time. I told her that I hoped everything was okay. And she replied, oh, there's just always so much to do at this time of the year. Closing down our house, packing up, and getting ready to go to our beach house for the summer. Bruh. 15. I used to work with a woman who shared a birthday with her husband. One year they threw a joint party and invited everyone from work. Normal, right? Except they registered for gifts, both of them. And they expected everyone to buy 2 gifts, one from each registry, and no one at work even knew her husband. If that husband was in on that and it wasn't the wife's idea, that's a pretty shitty thing for the husband to do. But it's also a pretty shitty thing for the wife to do. And number 16. I'm a nurse, and once a patient rang her call bell to ask for some pain medication moments before another patient went into cardiac arrest. All of the nurses jumped up to resuscitate the man, understandably. And as we were doing chest compressions, we suddenly heard, excuse me, I asked for my pain medication over 10 minutes ago. We glanced over and saw this woman standing in the doorway, one arm propped on her hip. Don't even get me started on those types. My God. She then had the audacity to scoff when the incoming doctors and Code Blue team asked her to step out of the doorway. A fellow nurse literally had to push her out of the way and said, read the room, lady. Ha ha. Yeah. Nice. Nice. I like that. I like that. Now, I also referenced about the female entitlement mentality. And again, there's a lot of women that are very grateful for what they have. They're not at all entitled. And, they actually show appreciation and they work hard for what they have. Unfortunately, not all of them. This is a Mamma Mia story. And again, I think this was from Miranda Devine. It's about getting what you want when you want it, even in defiance of reality and other people's wishes, which is exactly what a lot of this stuff is, to be honest. Whether it's career or family related, Miranda suggests there's an increasing number of women who believe they live in the age of entitlement and have a deluded self-belief and inflated sense of importance. You got that right. Guys, if you've watched any of Kevin Samuel's videos with all these chicks that are like 180 pounds, 5'8", and they're like, oh, I'm a 10 out of 10. I'm hotter than Beyonce and Kelly Rowland. Really? Really? Bro, you look like a busted Pillsbury biscuit can. Get the fuck out of here. But like, this is what she's saying about the deluded self-belief and inflated sense of importance. And like, I don't know if you guys saw that Jubilee video where it had like 5 or 6 girls, and they had to order themselves in from like hottest to least hot. And the short-haired blonde chick ended up being put as the first one in the line, then the overweight girl, and then basically they had it almost, with the exception of 2 girls, they had almost the entire thing around the wrong way. So the hottest girl was rated as least hot, and the least hot girl or second least hot girl was rated as the hottest. It was crazy, man. It's almost like these chicks don't want to get called out for telling the truth. They don't want to get attacked by their sisters for telling the truth. They don't want to be ostracized for being honest, because that is what happens when you're a woman and you're honest with your friends about things. Like I said to a guy the other day, he was saying he's worried about his daughter finding someone to settle down with, particularly given the landscape. And look, his daughter is, I got to tell you, man, if she were to lose a little bit of weight, she'd be very pretty. She's pretty as it is, but she's got more weight on her than most guys would look twice or three times at. So, and I noticed there were a couple of other people in this family that they had a little bit of extra weight on them as well, and including my friend. And I said to him, and he was appreciative of it. And I got a lot of respect for this guy, huge amount of respect. You got no idea. I said to him, look, I always say that the fathers are the leader of the household. And notice that your whole family has a few extra kilos from what I can see. And, I think that perhaps the best way to encourage her to get healthier and lose weight is not through telling her that this is what she needs to do to get a man, but through leading by example. And he expressed his appreciation for that feedback and for me being honest. And if only girls were that appreciative of feedback, if only girls were that had that much humility. The thing is, because they're never told no, and they're always told they're beautiful, and they're always told they're perfect, and they're always told, oh, don't you ever let anyone tell you, how to be or what to do, or that you're not beautiful, that you're not perfect. Like, this is what creates the entitlement. This is what creates the entitlement. See, the women with humility, the women with femininity, they are an increasing rarity. And those women are highly sought after. Those women are the kind of women that Kevin Samuels matches up with the high value men in his group, which, by the way, you've got to apply to be in. If you haven't checked out Kevin Samuels, guys, you got to go check that out. Kevin Samuels on YouTube. He's always bringing the truth, and he's not afraid to tell the truth. But he tells it by asking questions to draw the truth out. And then when they won't accept that, then he goes in. But he does it in such a classy way. And mad respect to Kevin Samuels. I know you may not see this, but doesn't change a thing. Just wanted to express how I feel about his content. It is A1. Here we go. Her article is based on a survey which found there were health risks for women who put off having children until after the age of 35. What was interesting about the survey she wrote was the reaction. Older mothers were angry at the suggestion that they posed a greater potential burden on the health system, despite the fact that no one was telling older women not to have babies or saying they won't have a perfect delivery. The study simply reported the unavoidable fact that fertility declines with age and the risk of some complications double. Knowing the truth should help women inform their life decisions, should help empower them. That thing that feminists always claim they want to do to women, empower them. Oh, but no, you're not allowed to empower them if you hurt their feelings. Come on, man. Double standard. Much? To avoid heartache down the track. But the irate reaction suggests some would rather bury their heads in the sand. The hostility was a symptomatic of a female entitlement mentality. Expanding on this idea, she said, increasingly in our narcissistic age, we see the self-deluded belief and inflated sense of importance from baby boomers to 13-year-old princesses. And in today's story, it was a 9-year-old princess. It's getting younger, people. At its extreme, it manifests in the stars of reality shows such as The Real Housewives of Orange County, women whose lives are an epic monument to selfishness. Female entitlement mentality is the end product of a culture that places self-esteem and empowerment above fairness and common sense. For 3 generations, women have been told growing up that they can have it all, do anything, and have unlimited freedom of choice. It was terrific for women to break free of oppression and achieve equality. But along the way, we've forgotten that some restrictions on freedom must exist if you're not to trample on the rights of other people and if you accept certain biological realities. 2 things that feminists don't want to acknowledge, because they are ignoring biological realities and they are trampling on the rights of other people. The only time they don't acknowledge the only time they want to acknowledge biological realities is when guys start winning as trans men in sports. That's it, right? We've got Deborah Charles says, I was never told I was beautiful. Men always let me know I wasn't a 10. I have a pretty good body, but only about a 5 with not great teeth or skin. Men always let me know I wasn't beautiful. Look, I'm sorry to hear that, Deborah. And I guess I was more referring to girls' girlfriends telling them that they're perfect all the time, and simps, of course, but girls' girlfriends always telling them that they're so beautiful, they're so perfect, they're so amazing, even if they're like 240 pounds. Like, bruh. Unless you're like 7.5 feet tall, 240 pounds is too much. So now an inflated sense of entitlement means you lash out and blame others when you don't get everything you believe you deserve. Believe you deserve. That really is the key there. Believe you deserve. And Miranda provided a few examples of female entitlement mentality. These are classic examples, by the way. The 18-year-old girl who was suing her former private school after she failed to get into the law school of her choice. She claims the school did not support her. The school claims she didn't finish all of her work. Really, bruh? People who opt for home births over hospital births. Look, the jury's out on that for me. Yes, there's more support at the hospital in case of complications, but I know plenty of women who have done home births and it's been fine. So I'm not really going to harp on that one. The dating scene are women being too picky and coming across as arrogant. That can often happen. It's not just women who are guilty of growing up believing they can have it all. As children, we're led to believe we can do anything, that we can do anything and be anything we set our mind to. But to what extent is that true? Where's the line between thinking you deserve something and actually being able to achieve it? And that is the key. Because if you can't achieve it, well, then obviously you haven't reached a level of achievement that would facilitate you being deserving of that thing. I'm just saying. Anyway, guys, I hope you like this video. Please, YouTube has been deleting my subscribers hand over foot on a daily basis. This isn't just like I did a video and then like 100 or 200 people left because they got pissed off or something I said. No, this is like daily, delete, 20, 30, 40, 30, 40, 20, 30, 20, 40. So, yeah, man, I was at 36,000. I think I'm like, I don't know, what is it? Where am I at now? I'll show you this. This is crazy, man. This is the BS that YouTube's up to. They've been deleting the downvotes on the White House account as well. Come on, switch over, man. Here we go. So I'm at 33,200 subscribers now. I was at over 36,000. I'm going to go into my analytics now. And I'm going to show you the trend. So audience, where is it? Overview. Here we go. Subscribers. Look at this. It's can you see this? It's all downwards. Every day, deleting. Chinab, man, thank you for that super sticker. I appreciate you guys who are still subscribers. If you are still subscribing and you're not getting the notifications, unsubscribe and then resubscribe and hit the all notifications so you get all of the videos, not just the one that YouTube choose for you to see, which is probably going to be none of them. And if you have friends that need to see these videos or that like this kind of content, or you just want to help grow the channel back up and try and mitigate some of that downwards trend, smash the thumbs up, leave a comment. You can always share this video on social media, on Gab, on any platform you wish to share it on. Get the word out there, guys. People need to hear about this stuff because they need to see what's coming their way if they're not careful. Anyway, to all of you who donated in super chats, I appreciate you guys. To those of you who donate via PayPal, I appreciate you as well. And also the people who drop crypto, I do have all of the details in the description below if any of you do want to donate. I appreciate you, gentlemen and ladies as well. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. But until next time, peace.